Okay, so I've always maintained that I thought observability tools were fairly easy to build and not a fundamental part of the stack. And now that we have Claude, I'm kind of convinced. So if you take a look at what I've got here, this is a data quality dashboard. Nothing crazy. Like if you go into this particular table, you can see I've got some queries, I've got some tests, like everything is green, that's great. But where a data quality tool or an observability tool really shines has never been like executing data quality tests. Like it's really easy to do that. Where they've shined is in actually helping you define them. So let's say that you have a Snowflake environment and you say, show me my Snowflake tables. You could have like hundreds, if not thousands, of Snowflake tables with loads and loads of fields underneath. So the problem isn't actually like running tests. The problem is that like for every single one of these tables, somebody has to go somewhere and like write a SQL test, which is like, hey, test nulls, and say, select me everything from the table where the field is null. And that takes time and is really time consuming. So what we've done is we've actually built an agent that does that instead. So what you have here is a really, really simple Claude skill. And it's not complicated, but you could make it more complicated. In this environment, we have our Snowflake credentials. So, private key passphrase, like warehouse, DB, schema, all that good stuff. And all I've told it to do is to query a subset of the data for a few tables. And then based on these, like think of some SQL queries that you could run as DPT style data quality rules. You could obviously be a lot more prescriptive here. So I could say, specifically identify timestamps, right? And make sure that there aren't anomalies in the timestamps. But I've been very not prescriptive here, but you could obviously tell AI to be better. What I've then said, well, use these to construct an orchestra pipeline, but this could be any pipeline, right? Like if you have like a data quality framework in your other orchestrator, you could use that too. But then we're also going to use the orchestra CLI to validate the pipeline. So this is going to make sure that stuff actually works. So the flow is sort of like, Claude goes into like Snowflake. It kind of identifies the data you have. It identifies stuff about the data. And then after that, it's actually going to create a data pipeline that we can run. So I'm just going to do this again and show you. So I'm going to say, hey, Claude, use the, create DQ rules skill to come up with a few timestamp checks on some key tables you find. Timestamps should be, not null, well formatted, and not have crazy values, e.g. 1066, like year 1066. And I'll come back in a second. All right, so we have done some stuff and we can see that we've got this new file called Snowflake timestamp DQ tests, and it do be taking some pipeline runs, some task runs, some issues, taking some timestamps and testing those. And the orchestra CLI validate command has run already, but we can go ahead and just double check that. So if I exit here and I cd to orchestra and I say orchestra validate, I can't be bothered to type this out, so I'll just put it in here. Oop. Oh, it's not a Python file, it's a YAML file. We can see the validation has passed, which is pretty great. So if I save this, we can actually import this to Orchestra automatically, but I'll just show you what it would look like if we did a full Git flow. So we'll go to the Snowflake tests branch. Snowflake tests branch actually already exists, so we should just be able to create a new pipeline. What repo is this? This is my DBT repo. So you'll see Orchestra fetches your repo names for you. I'll put in the name of the path. The default branch will be main, but it won't exist in main because it's in this Snowflake tests branch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can now see we've got like an entire pipeline, and now we can run it. Let's see what happens. So if you're wondering why the page needs to reload, it's because we're doing something which is called a matrix. So this allows you to pass like a similar type of test or a similar command many, many, many times. So if you take a look here, you can see that I'm saying, get me everything from this database.schema.table, where this column is less than 2000, or the year of this column is greater than 2030. And what doing this means is, like, if you then want to add another table or another column or another schema, it's really easy because you just add another one of these objects. So if I now take a look at Orchestra, we can see that everything has actually run, which is great. Like it's even managed to get the actual names of the tables without me having to input anything apart from credentials, which is pretty cool. And in this case, we have gone to this issues table and we've taken a look at the created at column. We can see that there are no anomalous years, which is fantastic. The really cool thing is that if you then take a look at this issues column in the assets tab, so I'm going to go here, I'm going to search for issues, and then I'm going to click on this. We'll see that there are some tests, and these tests have come through from this pipeline that I ran 2 minutes ago. You can see we're tracking the query cost, we've got the test operations, we've got all the details of the table. So it's pretty cool. Like, I started this video by saying, I think it's easy to build observability tools. And, as I said, the challenge that I've always seen has been actually defining these pipelines. And a lot of them don't even let you define stuff in code, which I think is a big mistake, because with AI, it's very easy to define stuff in code. Like, this worked the first time without me having to do anything. And I actually did it before. So AI generated this one instead. And I ran that as well. And that one was actually even more complicated. That one had all these tests in it, and it just kind of ran. And it doesn't have to be Orchestra, right? It's like you could be running these data quality tests in Airflow. You could be running them as Snowflake tasks. Like you could be doing literally anything. You could even just be running them in DBT. The point is like with Claude and with AI and like a very, very basic skill, you can basically have all of these powers that observability tools have been pitching. I think this is super cool. Hopefully you found it interesting. So if you've got any thoughts, share them in the comments, and please hit like.